Good day, everybody. Welcome back to the Colchester Sports Podcast. You're here with Marty and myself, Matt, and we got some stuff to talk about tonight. I got a quick update here for you, but more importantly, there's something Marty's got to say, I think.
Yeah, we got to address the elephant in the room here. I believe it was last episode that I ended off and I gave a shout out to Mitchell Cook to prove me wrong. And my golly, did he ever prove me wrong. The Cookie Monster ate my words. That's for sure. Boy, that guy is having a good start to this season, wouldn't you say?
He's having a great start. He had a good year with the CC Cougars. They had a phenomenal season. And that's kind of continued.
I just looking at, 3 games, 3.33 goals against. He has a shutout, believe it or not. He's up near the top of the save percentage. Like, he's arguably on paper the best goalie in the league right now. And I believe I deserve all the credit in the world for that because I woke up the Cookie Monster.
Yeah, shout out to Mitch Cook there. Beauty, what a beauty. Bud Heavy, they're having a good start. They're 2-1. We're 3 games into the season for them. Lots of bright spots in that lineup, to be honest.
I just don't know what it is about that team, but they're young, they're fiery, they want to play, they love playing with each other, they have fun. What's not to like about this team? Watch out for this team.
Yeah, probably another team to watch out for. I know we didn't give them. I got a few messages after that last episode aired, and I know, I know we didn't give them any props early, but that episode was shot, I think, after the first night, so that was super super early. You guys hadn't played yet.
It was a preview episode.
Yeah, it was the preview of the season. But yeah, let me wind back here. I got an update. I gotta let you know about my voice here because it probably sounds terrible. But I took a hockey puck to the throat a couple nights ago now, and anyway, that has led to my voice to be affected the way it is.
The goalie stopping the puck, believe that.
That's right, and you know what? It was in warm up.
Oh, you should have left that part out.
I just wanted to leave. I wanted to get out of there, but you can't. You're the only second goalie in pickup. So
secretly, anyway, Matt has COVID and just trying to cover it up with a goalie with a puck save.
Trust me, I'd probably rather COVID than that. That hurt, man. Anyway, just have to make sure everybody knows. That's led to my voice. It's a lot better now, though. I can at least talk. It's just a little bit raspy. Anyway, let's move on. The Bud Heavy team. I'm excited to see how they do this summer. I think there's a lot of promise there. There's been a couple. I've heard some rumblings of a few claims by some of their players. Actually, I think you quoted last episode from Nick Marshall. They're gonna win the summer league. So
that's
those are
right.
big words.
His exact quote was, "Not only are we going to win the summer league, we're also going to win the summer slam." So they're on their way. We could sit here and probably have an episode dedicated to these young fellas, but I'm pretty excited to announce that I get the call up next week. So they're gonna have a little veteran presence in the locker room next week. And hopefully I don't bring them down too much. Boys, don't feel bad about making me sit on the bench. I'm just there for moral support.
Yeah, so Marty's getting drawn in the lineup. They got a few bodies missing next Wednesday. And you're on the roster, so completely, of course, legal, above board. And yeah, you'll see some action this summer. Love to see that.
It's a big game.
Side. It is a big game. It's kind of the 2 top teams right now, the first and second place teams. We'll see what happens. There's game Sunday, so we'll see what happens. What's today, the 26th? So that'll be the 28th. We do have some games to come up. So, but as of right now, first and second seeds will play on Wednesday. You're coming in the lineup. That's a huge game for you. We'll see how it goes. The Colchester Excavation and Bud Heavy. It'll also Wednesday night will finish the first round robin. So every team will have played everybody, and we'll be back to the start of the next round robin. Play every team twice, and then that's the regular season. So you kind of get 2 cracks at every team, and then we'll go into playoffs.
It's coming up pretty quick. Like, it's hard to believe that, again, we're on episode 4 here, and the season's almost half over. Summer season's a little shorter than the winter season, but like you said, everybody's going to play everybody twice. You'll get to see who everybody's got and what they're actually made of. And then we separate the men from the boys when the quest for the Chalk Summer Cup, begins.
Yeah, that's right. And we could extend the season. I've thought about that. You could play into August. Some guys want to. I think personally, I don't. I think it's kind of nice to give a month to kind of chill, and then guys are going to their camps and stuff anyway. We have a lot of the boys home this summer that are playing on legit still like competitive hockey, so they go to their camps and they have tryouts and stuff coming up. So I think what we're doing kind of May, June, and then July kind of playoffs. I think that's probably the right way to go. I'm happy with it anyway.
You have to remember too, like we have the Summer Slam in August. Little shout out again. Get your teams in. August 3rd to 6th, I believe, is the correct date. There's a little post up on the Instagram page to show the info on that. So having the season shorter, like you said, May, June, a little bit in July is good. Gives some guys some time off, and then come back again for the tournament. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I think so too. And we have some teams rolling in. I had some texts this week. We got some teams for both divisions rolling in. Just a reminder, we have an open division. I'm not going to be looking at rosters for that in terms of where people played. And then we have our recreation division, which will allow 3 junior B players per team, and everybody else has to be below junior B level. So those 2 divisions coming up, both on that weekend, and I just have to confirm with the rec, but I believe we don't have games on Thursday. I know that's a big golf night. I know guys like their golf. So it'll start. That's why it's starting Wednesday. We'll play Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Only a couple games on Wednesday and Friday just to kind of get the ball rolling. We only have 1 ice surface, remember, where these other tournaments have Brookfield, sometimes the stadium, of course, DeBert. Like, there's other rinks that they play at East Hants. Colchester Cup went out to East Hants. We got 1 rink to get this all in. So, I thought it'd be kind of nice, too, rather than just go to the rink on a sunny Saturday in August and play 3 games. You can play 1 game a day kind of thing, right? So we'll see how it all shapes out, but I am excited for the Summer Slam tournament for sure.
I will announce, too, that I am putting a team into the Summer Slam. I think we're going to
Hold on.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Hold on. Is that the same? What team is this? Is this the team that I'm aware of or no?
Ooh, I don't know. The Goblins?
I don't know. Is Travis Bentley on your roster?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So that is one of the teams that I was aware of.
Okay. I wasn't sure, but yeah, we're going in it. Looks like it's going to be most of our team that's going to be formed for next winter. We're going to put the team together, have a little fun before the season starts, unveil the Blue Goblin jerseys that I believe are going to be the best jerseys in the league.
Sick. That'll be sweet. And I thought that's a great place for this tournament. It's people to try out, or just not try out, but kind of get rosters together, kind of get guys excited. I'm still working on one of the guys for the rec division in the winter, seeing if he wants to put a team in to this tournament. I think if they go in, have some fun, that'll carry over, and they'll be like, let's play the winter. So it is also a way to kind of grow what we're doing for the rec division specifically. It's fine with the elite division last year, but grow the rec division, grab some more teams, and more than 3, and then we'll be we'll have a better division, right?
Let's just dive into a little bit about the season so far. Like you said, most teams have played everybody, I believe, at least once now. Is that correct?
Almost. So on Wednesday, everybody will have played everybody. So there's a couple 2 games Sunday, and then 3 games on
Wednesday.
on Wednesday
Triple
there.
header
That'll round
Wednesday.
out the first round robin. Yeah.
Yeah, and so far, Colchester Excavation leads the way. They're actually undefeated in 4 games, 3-0-1. Surprising for me, we both had our early season predictions. Remember, in the Titans and the Underground Snacks, both teams got off to a little slow start, but lots of hockey left. But this Colchester Excavation team, I believe they're going. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I believe they're doing so well, partly due to Brent Walters. He's playing pretty well.
He's having a great start to the season. He's been the backbone for sure. There's no question.
And then I just look at the and again, I know you guys have played 4 games, but you got the 3 top scorers in the league right now. Actually, I believe this is very odd for me to say, but I believe you are the top scorer in the league right now.
That should never happen. I've never had that title in my life.
So how much are you paying these refs?
Yeah, it's the goalies, man. You got to pay the goalies off.
Well, anytime anybody scores, they just go, yeah, that was Matt. That was Matt.
Yeah.
Matt wasn't even on the ice.
Yeah. Man, that's been super surprising. And, I know it's a joke. It's funny that it's the way it is right now. I don't foresee it lasting. And like I said, we do, like you said, we have an extra game played. That helps. You wait till after Sunday, you'll see some other things, like some other guys probably step up and surpass that. And I'm not usually a goal per game guy, even in beer league. It's just not the way I play. It's just not. I don't know. It's definitely a different position that I'm in currently. But man, to see my name at the top of that list, yeah, I'll marvel in that for a minute or two.
As you sit there in your New Jersey Devil jersey.
Hey, shout out to the Jersey. Let's the other thing on the Colchester Excavation. Man, I like so I've been playing with them this year, of course, and not normally my full-time team, but it's been interesting to see like a different team and what goes on in the dressing room, and how guys are and stuff like that. And these guys are a big supportive group of like friends. Like they just want to play with their friends. They that's all it is. Buddies going to the rink, playing some hockey. They stick around. They watch the games afterwards. They just want to be in the rink with their friends, watching hockey, around hockey. Like it's been kind of fun to see that. The Hogs are like that too. They would stick around in the dressing room and share stories and stuff like that. So it's been kind of fun to watch and be a part of this summer. But yeah, Brent Walters, couple game MVPs. Bryson Curry had a big night the other night. Finally came out of his shell a little bit. 2-goal performance. He'd be the guy that would have the skill, I would say, of that team, playing some junior A and stuff. And then we have a big pickup, Colt, guy I never met.
I hear a lot about this
Colt.
guy.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of praise. He's a kind of like a gritty Sheldon Soucy, like he's kind of that kind of player on defense, and he's been a big plus. And then I gotta shout out Booma. He was a spare. I think he's gonna get some more games in here, and he's been solid. He's been kind of the rock of that blue line. Brad Moore with his first game MVP the other night.
Sorry,
Man,
who?
Bobby Moore.
Bobby
I love
Moore.
that. I love that. That was a little surprising, but he's. I love it. He's having fun, and it's been a fun group. I think I will say, like, I do think that team, and I'm on it. I don't hate me, but I do think that team is overperforming right now a little bit. I will say that. I think a 3-0-1 record. I think they're kind of like not lucky or happy, but I think it's surprising. It is definitely surprising, and I'm just being logical. I did put out my. Even this was the other night. I was texting one of the captains, and it's my regular season predictions still, and I still have red outside. Colchester Excavation outside of the top 2. I do have them in that 3 to 4 range. So that, we're first now. That means a slow decline. So, yeah, they've turned some heads, I think, and it's been fun. But yeah, we'll see how things shake up there.
I believe you guys are one of, because I know you're on your roster. Chase is on your roster, and I know that he won't be able to play every game. He's not in the Truro area this summer, so getting him when you can will be a plus. But I believe you guys are the only team that doesn't have, as we call, a pro player.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, man. You gotta. I think that's a good mention. And I do like the pro. Like I know a pro hockey player is a real thing, but like for the Chell, the pros, just labeled as the guy that's played Q or pro hockey or what's the other one? University, so
Yep.
AUS or CIS. And yeah, so the Colchester Excavation doesn't have one. Chase is on the roster. He's played one game, and like you said, I don't think he intends to play more. But if he's home and it's convenient, he will. But yeah, it's just like I said, man. It's a group of guys just going out to play some hockey and see how they do. So
I agree. Like,
yeah,
one guy isn't, as good as Chase is, and he's an exceptional player. One guy isn't going to bolster your lineup that much. You still got to have a goalie between the pipes who's going to get 25, 35 shots a game. It's nice to see the McHugh brothers playing together again, both
can we
contributing.
shout that out real quick? Nate McHugh broke his leg. This guy broke his leg in a 4-wheeler accident last year. Was in a boot and cast for I don't know how long, 8 months, I'm gonna guess. Didn't play all winter. He dressed when they were in the playoffs. I saw him dress. He skated and warm up, and I think he's just sat on the bench the whole game. Again, just a guy that loves to be around hockey. He's with his brother. I love that. I love playing with my brother. And now he's playing. He's back to playing competitive, beer league, but competitive beer league. There's some good players in this league. It's a fast league.
Yep.
And he's playing. He just broke his leg. So anyway, shout out Nate McHugh.
That you have 2 sets of brothers on your team. You have the Bentley brothers on your team as well.
Yep, love to see that too. Do love to see that. And yeah, that's a good surprise.
Did this team come from the commercial league? Was like the core, like the nucleus of this team? That's a nice word. I like that word. Was the nucleus of this team from the commercial league?
Yeah, that was in the party ice days.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I just mentioned the other day, like the name Party Ice is still thrown around. Like, so people will say the Party Ice team, and it's just like their red jerseys, but it's just funny. That's how guys still label. That's how far that like branding can go for a team, I guess.
For sure.
That's like what, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, the core of that team played out in that commercial league. Yeah, and I was on that roster actually 2016, I think, 2017. So I got to play a year with them.
Cool. No. Just going back to the standings there, actually, the Titans are actually in second place right now, but I think it's because they have a 4th game played.
Gotcha.
They did beat Bud Heavy last week. And I believe on the last podcast, again, I mentioned how I was going to take a clipboard to the rink to learn about Glenn Frazee and Sandy McKenzie. If I don't know who these guys are by now, I'm never going to know, because it's all I hear about is how good these 2 guys are and what a treat it is to have them in this league playing, enjoying themselves. I get guys at work all day. All they talk about is how quick and skilled Sandy is. And then Glenn goes out and says, well, don't forget about me, and has a hat trick last game, ends the Bud Heavy's perfect season. It's great to see. I love it.
Yeah, and I'll reinforce my message from the last one. If I had to pick a team, I'm still gonna go with them. And yeah, we could name all the players again, but I think the product is there. And Fraser's name doesn't even come up, but he's such a backbone to that team.
That roster is deep.
That roster is deep. It is good. So they'll be, like I said, I think, you know what, I do think all six of these teams can compete with each other. I do think all six of these teams, um, like, yeah, it's anybody's summer. But anyway, I'm just gonna place my horse on, I guess my bet on the Titans horse, I guess is what you'd say.
It's when all six teams make the playoffs. I think it would make the league a little more competitive. Not saying it's not competitive enough because it's super competitive. Like I'm excited to play next week, but at the same time, I'm gonna have to take like 3 days off because I know I'll be so sore after the game. But when all six teams make the playoffs, I got a feel for the Purple Dragons right now. 0-3 start to the year. Tough start. But when things click and they go your way at the right time, who's to say these guys aren't going to come out and upset, one of these giants at the top of the leaderboard? Like anything can happen.
100%. And you're 100% right. Look at Florida this year. Look at St. Louis Blues 2019. Like, it just takes the right timing. They got the right pieces. We just played them the other night. They're a good team. They got some good pieces there. There's a lot of good players, a lot of legs. They got a lot of legs, a lot of bodies. Yeah, G and Gavin have the right performance, and their supporting cast steps up a little bit. That team can do some damage, I would say.
I think the surprise right now for me, and I know, sidetrack here for a sec, my early prediction was the Underground Snacks. They're okay. They're just getting started. I believe I mentioned the other day when Dylan won his player of the game, I just said if this team gets hot and Dylan gets hot, I don't think there's anybody that can beat them. But I'm really surprised with the Hogs right now. Like, somebody's got to go in that locker room and give them a Al Pacino any given Sunday type speech because they're near the bottom right now.
Yeah, okay, let's dive into the Hogs a little bit here. I got some guilt. I do have some guilt. I'd have to put that out there. That was the team I played on in the winter, of course, for those that don't know. And yeah, I'm just trying to show that I'm just happy to play wherever. But if you look, I just feel like I'm not, I should be on there, especially where I should be helping that team as whatever I could do, which I've, whatever. Spencer Scott, I think he's looked great. I've been talking to him a little bit. He thinks he has another gear, and I know who, those that know Spencer knows he's a competitor. He's never going to go away. He's always trying to get better. And you know what he said? I texted him. He said, don't worry. This is exactly what I need right now.
That's scary.
That is scary. That's awesome.
I also think this is the first time because Spencer played last summer for most of it. Then he played last winter, and we all know about the torch he went on last winter. This might be the first time he's lost back-to-back games in the chill. And if that's if that's what he needs to light the fire, again, another situation where if Spencer gets in his zone, nobody's scoring on him.
Yeah, and I got to watch a bit of the Hogs and Underground Snacks game, and that was good. It was good hockey. Spencer had some huge saves, absolutely huge saves, and I think he's serious. I think he's tweaking some of the things he's doing, some of the things like some of this technical side of things. I think with his increased skill level of the league, I think he is kind of reviewing his game and how he can get better. So I think he's right. This is what he needs right now, and he's going to only get better this summer, which is crazy to think about. And the Hogs, the other thing, the Hogs in that game, they had a lot of good scoring chances, and they just couldn't finish. And I think that'll come. I think that'll turn around eventually. Carson Landsleeve on the doorstep a couple times. Dylan making huge saves. But I think Carson, that's a time when Carson would like to have that chance back. And that's a completely different game. It's 3-0 after the first period. 4-0 early in the second. They had a 4-0 lead for the Snacks. And the Hogs did get a couple back, finished in a 5-2 final. But that could have been a 4-4 game, 3-3 game, shootout, have a shootout. So I think the Hogs are figuring things out. There's a little bit of growing pains for some of the new cast. There's, it's kind of a new makeup compared to the winter. So I think they'll figure it out, and I think listen, that's not a team that I would want to face first round of the playoffs.
No.
Right?
No.
How unlucky is that draw?
Could you imagine if, they slide a little bit, let's say a couple key guys miss some games, and they finish like in that 5-6 hole or 4 hole? Imagine a first round matchup between Titans and Hogs.
Yeah, that's a heavyweight match.
Somebody's going home upset that night.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's the other thing is Spencer, when I was talking to him, he said, "Do all 6 teams make playoffs?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, we're fine then." So I don't think there's too much concern in that dressing room right now. I know things aren't going the way they want, and I know the Hogs are used to winning. They're a winning franchise. And I know it's not going that way right now, but summer is just getting started. They're only 3 games in. They're only 30% done that regular season. So lots more to come for the Hogs, and keep pushing. I'm cheering for them for sure.
They do have. I was just checking my notes here. They do have a couple nice additions to the team. Colby Landsleeve was recently added, so that'll certainly big pickup. And Matt Vora, who recently, I believe, played prep school in the States, so that'll be another nice pickup for them. So things are trending up. Let's say that the Hogs are trending.
And let's call it like it is. I think Colby's kind of he's a spare, but we saw what happened for him when he played for Macintosh Marksman in the winter. We saw what happened come playoff time. Who was on the roster? Who was playing? So, yeah, I don't expect much from Colby in the regular season, but once that playoff game comes around, I would put money that he'll be in the lineup.
So, just for those of you who don't know, we don't have a minimum games played for playoffs. It's just too hard to track who's playing each game. It's a lot of work for myself and Matt. Like, we can't always be at the rink to monitor this, and puts a lot of onus on the refs. So we just said no. May 31st is the roster deadline. So you can make all the additions, subtractions, whatever you want up until May 31st. After May 31st, that's it. If somebody plays that's not on your roster, I mean, you've been given ample amount of time to figure things out. Fortunately, that's probably going to end up, I believe, in a forfeit loss for your team. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We've had that in the winter. We had a forfeit in the winter due to roster ineligibility. So it's happened in the past, and yeah, it just is what it is.
It works. I mean, it's pretty simple. If I wanted to put Sidney Crosby on my roster right now, and there's a chance that he may show up in the playoffs, as long as he's there before May 31st, he can play.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say it's the best thing, but like I already said, I do think it's the right way to go because it's just the least amount of hands-on that I need to have during the whole season. People can fudge rosters too. If you're filling out game sheets, I'm just going to put Chase. Chase is here tonight. Refs don't look at it or whatever happens. All of a sudden, Marty gets the game sheet at the end of the night. Okay, Chase was there, no points. Okay, I'll make sure that's a game played for Chase. So I think there's just going to be workarounds. Like, people will find the way around it to get Colby and these guys the minimum games played. So Just easy. You have 20 names. One has to be a goalie. Fill out your 20. There you go. And that's your team. So,
We
yeah.
had, I mean, this is a good topic to talk about because it happened last year, and I believe this is part of our growth and where we're going with things. But last summer, we tried the minimum games played. And just when you think everything is going well, the playoffs come around, and I believe it was Purple, so the now Macintosh Marksman, had a player, Navarro, who was all set to play and everything, and then he got called out because he only played 4 of the allotted 5 games that he needed to play, and that was probably a big loss for them. I know they played us in the semifinals, and I believe we won 4-2. That would have completely changed that game. And at the same time, you kind of feel really bad about doing it, but a rule is a rule. You know, I use the funny analogy, and people look at me crazy when I say this, but every time you go to a red light and it's red, you stop, don't you? It's just a
Yeah.
rule. You stop
That's
at a
fair.
red light. So, you know, roster deadline's May 31st. Don't make any moves after May 31st.
Yep. And, yeah, I think that's important. But I also like what you just talked about. I also think it shows that like I am willing to change, and like I don't take these rule changes lightly. I put too much thought into it probably as part of my life. I have a long commute to work, and so I do put a lot of like thought into things. And when oh, would this work better or would this work better? Like there's a lot, and then I text people. I'm texting Marty. What do you think about this? Like there's a lot that goes into something when I make it. Last summer we started with there's no rules. It was like, hey guys, who wants to put a team in? Let's have some fun. Things got exploited. And it's like, okay, we need to have some rules. So the league's constantly changing. We're constantly adapting. We're only in the second summer. I'm already thinking about things like the 50% junior A rule. Do we adjust that? Has that been exploited? Maybe. I don't know. So anyway, nothing's perfect. I'm not saying I have the best rules. I do think, let me say this. I'm going to say this on the pod. I was hoping not to do this with my raspy voice. I do think Truro has the best beer league in the province. I am going to say that. I'm biased, sure. I got to say, I think the Chell is the best experience for a beer league player in Nova Scotia.
You heard
Am I
it here
right? I don't
first.
know.
You heard it here first.
But yeah, so I am open, rational, logical, well explained thoughts. Let me hear them. And as long as I don't think you're doing it for your own situation. A lot of people will text me and say, "Hey, what about this?" And I'm like, "Okay, you want that to happen because it helps you or your team." I think about everybody and the most logical solution. So anyway, hit me up anytime. I always get feedback at the end of the seasons from the captains. But if you feel like your voice isn't being passed through your captain, then just shoot me a message. Yeah, let me know what you think.
Yeah, no, that's pretty fair. I mean, you're pretty easy to talk to. You know, if they don't want to talk to you, they can talk to me. I like talking to people. That's
Hey,
fun.
you know what? Yeah, head into Cleves and talk to Bentley or Marty. Um, you know what? We were talking before the show, and you were telling me some stories about Cleves and some of the workers. You guys could have a TV show.
Man, I'll say we have a good crew right now. I like the guys and the girls that work for me. Great group. We have our ups and downs, but nothing's better than when you're sitting at work and somebody says something and Nick Marshall bounces out of somewhere and just goes, "You talked about that on the podcast." It
Love
kind
it,
of makes you
man.
feel nice to say like, hey, you know, people are out there actually listening, and you know, maybe they get a little bit of enjoyment. At the end of the day, I mean, like, you know, we were on for what, an hour before we actually started recording this, just shooting the shit with each other. Like, I feel like we could talk all night. But when somebody comes to me and says that, you know, hey, what you're doing is good, or I like what you're doing, like it really brings some enjoyment to my life. Like it really kind of gives it a little purpose. And if I can bring enjoyment to somebody else's life, well, what else do you ask for?
100%. And so I do appreciate all the texts I've gotten too. There's been a lot of people that I'm like, wow. it's pretty cool that they've listened to it or they've checked some of it out, or there's comments on these the clips on Instagram and stuff. So I appreciate all those messages and stuff, just letting us know. Like, it's just nice to hear feedback. It can be like, oh man, that sounded like shit or whatever. Is that the first swear word on the pod? That might be the
No,
first
I said one before.
Oh,
Last
that's
episode.
I think that's my first swear word though.
PG-13.
But yeah, anyway, appreciate all you guys. And like I said, yeah, this is like Marty said, we're doing this for fun. This is definitely just for fun. And yeah, it's for you guys. Like, it's fun to talk about the guys, feature the guys in the league and talk about some of the stuff. But yeah, don't take anything to heart that we say. We're just two guys that don't know much about hockey but love to play, or love hockey, I guess.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. It's fun. I think we have some goals and aspirations that we might try to obtain, but we'll get there someday. But yeah, no, it's been good so far.
Definitely. I got a topic though.
Yep.
I don't know if you're ready for something else.
Give her.
Okay, here we go. I need to talk about celebrations, goal celebrations.
I knew that
Okay.
was coming.
Now, so you got to hear me out though.
All right.
Everybody listening, you got to hear me out. Okay, I gotta preface this a little bit more. I think this isn't fully thought out. This thought that I have is not fully thought out, so there may be lots of holes in it. But I would personally like to see more goal celebrations brought back into the Chell. Well, there's none really. And I think I want to make it a space where it's okay. Like, I know now, typically, if somebody celebrates in a beer league or whatever, it's kind of like, wow, that guy's an a-hole. I won't swear again, but that guy's, wow, that guy thinks he's like the shit or whatever. I want to make it a place where it's not that. It's kind of like hilarious to somebody celebrating, or it's kind of like fun. It should be like supported a little bit. And I'm gonna go a little bit more before you jump in, but even if it's at the minimum of the 5 guys on the ice coming together in a huddle and then going through the bench or something, or not going through the bench, but 5 guys on the ice coming together in like a little group huddle before then going back to center ice. I think that is more like visually appealing for a spectator, or I know when I showed up to the rink on the Sunday night when Bud Heavy and Purple played, and I saw that. Because, a lot of those guys are young. They just played high school. And that's what they do in high school. That's what they do in competitive leagues. They celebrate with their team, whether it's like the 5 guys on the ice coming together, fist bumps or whatever, and then breaking off. And it looked awesome. I was like, man, this is so cool to see in the Chell happening. But I know us old guys, yeah, if that happened on any other team, it's kind of like, what are these guys doing? But I'm going to put it out there. How do we make this acceptable? Do we want to make it acceptable? I think it would. There's no harm in it. I think if guys know that it's kind of like practiced in our league, it would become less like aggravating to see.
I think it's tough because I don't know what the average age of the league is, but I feel it's over 25. So most of these guys, I would say over 80% probably, have been out of real competitive hockey for 7, 8, 10 years, 20 years, some situations. Like, for these guys to see, and I'm not saying it's not like we shouldn't have it. I you know what? Celebrate. Have fun. At the end of the day, it's to have fun. You're hanging out with your buddies. Could you just picture this? It's game 3 of the final. And just for the topic of this conversation, we'll say Bud Heavy's playing the Titans. And Bud Heavy scores with 30 seconds left to go up by 1. That's a big moment. You probably just won your team the cup. So celebrate. Look at Florida the other night. All these superstitions about not touching the trophy, and they grab the trophy and they celebrate with their team. Celebrate with your friends, celebrate with your boys. I
So
think
you are
that's fair.
you are pro celebration.
No, hold on, I'll go back here. To a certain extent. Now, I don't need no Timu Solani glove in the air shooting the duck kind of thing. Like
Yep.
we don't need that. But
Yep.
if you score a goal, I like the idea of, giving a little fist pump to the guys and kind of a little huddle. Hey, we scored. Cool. Um, I don't need the Nathan McKinnon dragging the ice. I have a story here. So this is actually kind of a cool story, and I'll hold this to my heart for a while. So a few years ago, I played in the Hockey Heroes tournament in Halifax, which is for the Heart and Stroke Foundation, and I have a new appreciation for that tournament after my father had a stroke a couple years ago. He's okay, but it was a pretty rough time in my life. Anyways, so we were playing in a game, and our celebrity was Al Ifredi. Shout out Al, unbelievable guy. But we played against the team. They were yellow. Don't know where they were from, but their celebrity was Dale Hawerchuk. Rest in peace, Mr. Hawerchuk. So me and him are at the face-off, and pretty cool. You're sitting across from a legend, and at this time it was 5-5, and we went down. Puck came out in the slot. I scored, and again, it's gentleman hockey. It's a fundraiser tournament. There's no semifinals, no finals, like no crossover. There's nothing. You just play 3 games and you're done. And we went up 6-5, not much time left, and I celebrated. I let go, big fist pump and a big woohoo, and the other bench did not like that. They were chirping. So this is kind of the heartwarming of the story. Hawerchuk comes over to me, puts his arm around me, skates me over to their bench. These guys are just going at it, but when he comes over, they just stop. They go silent. And he just looks at them and he goes, "Boys, this guy just scored a goal. Let him celebrate." And I'll take that with me forever. My one interaction with this guy, and it was unreal. Cool moment. So celebrate.
Yeah, wow.
Celebrate.
That's special, man.
Yeah, it was kind of
That's
cool.
sweet. So sounds like you're pro celebration.
Within reason, yes. I'm pro within reason.
Yeah. I agree. I don't mind the rub the ice though. I think that can be used in tighter games. I don't know, man.
No.
There can't be I think anyway, maybe just playoff. Is that a playoff celebration?
I don't
No,
know. Do
but
we so here's the question. I think where we can branch off in this. There's no overtime, correct?
in regular season, no.
Playoffs?
Yes.
Okay. So, again, game 3, championship round, overtime. You score a goal. Are you throwing the gloves up? Are you celebrating that much?
No.
Okay.
But I think it just adds. I think my whole, and I'll probably get chirped for some of this, but I do think it adds not an element, but it adds like to the league. It adds to the. I saw someone sent me a video of a goal from the Winter League, and it was like in a playoff game, and the skater just turns around, and we all just pretend it doesn't happen. We all pretend we just go back to center ice and pretend nothing happened, and I think it's just like it's bad optically. It'd be bad content, like if you shot it as a live stream or a footage, it would be bad. It would be not. Yeah, it just would be like boring, I guess is a better word. I don't know. I'm gonna advocate here to start. All 5 guys come together on the ice, like all 5, in the corner or whatever, and just fist pump and then go back to center ice. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I've been trying to think of ways to encourage it. Like, do we do yeah, you could almost have like sponsored prizes that we could hand out to the guys or the teams.
Let's not get silly.
Okay.
I,
Hey man, this is where my brain goes.
Yeah, I can see that. Trust me, I talk to you more than I talk to a lot of people, so I know where your brain goes. I had a thought and I completely forgot it because we got talking about your brain.
Oh, my bad.
That's all good.
But yeah. So right now, I'm just gonna let everybody know again. This is unfiltered. This is just me talking without putting much thought into it. But I would like to see it. I would like to see some more energy, some more happiness. I don't know, even if it's against my team, whatever. That's cool.
The other thing too that I want to touch on is when you have run time, you don't have time. You don't have time to celebrate. So you score a goal, let's say you're down 2-1 or sorry 2-0.
What,
You score a
what
goal.
about run time? What are you talking about run
Well,
time
just let me finish, would you?
Okay.
Stop cutting me off. when you have run time, you can't celebrate. You don't have time for it. But fortunately, in the Chell, we have stop time. See, Matt, what happens when you let me finish? So
Okay,
with stop
I
time,
see.
it creates the opportunity for possibly situations like this. Again, I agree with you in the sense that, if you score a big goal, you score a goal, sure, celebrate with the boys, fist pump here, fist pump there. Again, we don't need the Teemu Solani shooting the
Yeah.
duck, the Nathan McKinnon grabbing the ice. We don't need,
I think grabbing the ice is cool.
I don't know.
Cool
But
with
you want to
that.
hear a pretty funny celebration?
Yeah.
High school, our biggest rivalry was with West Kings. I'm from the Valley. For those of you that don't know, I went to Central Kings. So our biggest rival was West Kings. So when we played West Kings, I don't know. I played in the barn. I don't know if any of you remember the Berwick Arena. It was an old barn. Anyways, so one of my buddies scored a goal, and he must have been planning this for a while because none of us knew it. Skated over to the glass, blew on the glass, wiped it off so it was nice and clear, pulls out a Sharpie from his sock, and signs his name in front of the West Kings fans. Craziest thing I've ever seen.
That's excessive.
It's like an NFL
Something did that in the
celebration.
NFL. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
But there's a topic for people out there. Those of you who listen,
Yeah,
what do you think?
let us know. I'm gonna put it to the team captains too. I don't know. We'll see, because it could backfire. I do understand that it could lead to some more scrums and guys being aggravated. You get scored on, and then someone just celebrates, and so yeah, it could definitely backfire. I do see that side, or hockey guys are supposed to be humble and modest. So anyway, I'm just spitballing here, but yeah, let's move on.
Comes with maturity too, I think. I think you have to realize, like, hey, we're at the end of the day, again, we all have to get up tomorrow and go to work. So if I'm playing, let's say I'm playing the Purple Dragons, for example, and they score a goal. They're a bunch of young kids. They're excited. They're cocky. They celebrate. It is what it is. You let it go. You want to make a point?
You know,
Go score. Go score a goal of your own. Celebrate
you know what
yourself.
though? When we played the Hogs the first night, we were down. What were we down? 2-0, 3-0, 3-0, and there's a loose puck in front of Spencer Scott, and everyone's whacking away at it. Comes to me on the far post, and I take once, like I try to shoot it in. I miss the puck bounces, so it missed the first swipe. Come back and hit it the second time, and I was on one knee at that point. Put the puck in the net. It was gross, garbage goal. Here I am on one knee, and I'm like, man, I'd love to celebrate, because I think we're gonna get. I think I was thinking at the time it was gonna be like a 5-1, 6-1 blowout, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to just do a celebration and kind of make fun of myself that we scored a dirty garbage goal. And then you're just you can't do that. It's just not accepted. The guys won't take it as you're having fun, or you're poking fun at yourself. And anyway, but you don't get many on Spencer Scott. You just don't.
Those are ones you should probably celebrate.
That's right.
Again,
Anyway.
if the regular season doesn't excite you, okay, it's just the regular season. Everybody makes playoffs. Maybe that's something we adjust. Maybe only 4 makes playoffs, and it makes the regular season mean something. But in the playoffs, where you have to win, maybe guys will celebrate a little bit more.
I do think, but I think the deep down, the real thing is that this hockey doesn't matter. At the end of the day, obviously. And I think that
Speak for yourself.
That's fair. That's very fair. But I make it for me, it matters. I like to care a little bit about it and have some fun with it. But there are guys that would probably have that mindset, and I think it's beer league, it's whatever, and guys should show up to play and go home. And anyway, I don't know. I just feel
But isn't
I
that
think we
something that we're like, I don't know, maybe we're trying to strive for, and maybe it's just you and I in the clouds, but like you try to strive for, like you said it earlier, you want to argue that the Chell is the best beer league in the province. I mean, there's some pretty good leagues out there. The Nomad League is really good. The league in the city is really good. And yes, at the end of the day, maybe guys don't care, but I think the ultimate goal probably is to make them care. I I don't know how everybody can sit there and say that they don't care. Again, I go back to last year when I was presenting trophies to the Unicorn Makers and Camden Weldon. Like, these guys were excited. They have a team, they hang out with their buddies, and they win a trophy. That's exciting. They care.
yeah, it is a fine line because I'm kind of asking guys to care enough to to care enough, but to not care enough that they get emotional and angry, and when you lose, guys kind of get silly. So yeah, it's definitely a fine line. I think that's the line I'm walking, is like, does a celebration, it can add, or like a group celebration even, that adds to guys caring and the experience, I think, of it. But it also, on the other side, can aggravate people and lead to more guys like chirping and stuff like that. So is it good or is it bad? I don't know. We'll find out. But
But
I feel like
that's
we beat a
fine
dead
though.
horse
Like,
this time.
I've been waiting patiently to make a suspension post. So
Listen. I wanted to do one in the in the winter chill, and it was vetoed. But no, it's all good. I would, you know what? The other post I want to see is a trade post, and we did have our first proposed trade in the captain's thread.
yeah, that was never gonna happen. However, there is a free agent out there, and I feel like, the insiders, because I'm keep staring at my phone, waiting for it to light up and find out that this guy was actually picked up. We're not going to spill the beans on who it is or how it's going, but trust me, when it's announced, you'll know.
There's a big name. There is a big name floating around. We'll see how that lands, but yeah,
Yeah. I mean, so I think to kind of end off, talking about the league, we'll just, I think I touched on you guys at Colchester Excavation, Matt McKenzie, yourself, Bryson, and Jordy uh, lead the way right now with goals. Navarro and Verge also there with 4 from Underground Snacks. Somebody will separate from the pack here in the next few games. Don't know who. Maybe somebody down lower. I look lower at the stats here, and I see Ben Higgins has 3. There's another guy that we haven't even mentioned yet this podcast who, fits in really nice in this league. Carson's having a great year so far. And like we keep talking about, but Fraser, like, we cannot forget that Fraser White plays for the Titans and is still in this league.
Dylan
Cook. Like, the talent in this league is really, really good. And just flipping quickly over to the goalies, like, again, I'll eat my own words. Good on you, Mitch. Like, I'm happy for you, man. Like, to call somebody out like that and he answers the bell. You got the best goals against average right now. You're in the top 3 or 4 in save percentage. Keep it going, man. Keep it going.
Yeah, can you read off the other goalies?
Yeah, for sure. Brent Walters is having a great year. He's 3-0-1. That's why Colchester's in first place. I solely believe that he's playing above. Don't get me wrong, Brent's a great goalie, and we all love him. I think he's playing a little better than he usually does right now. And then Jacob Curry, the Titans are starting to get rolling. It doesn't hurt. I know last podcast I said if one game, winner take all, I would probably take Dylan over him. That's not to say he's not a good goalie, because he is a good goalie. You said it best. He's a competitor. He's going to compete.
Yeah.
Spencer Scott's. I'm really interested to see how things go for Spencer. Just after what you said earlier about he's got another gear and not to worry because every team makes playoffs really sparks my interest because I feel like he's going to go on a tear. Like he might not lose another game.
Ooh.
And then we'll just give a quick shout out to Colby Benson. I know he's only been playing goalie for a couple years, so to throw himself in the fire in this league, hats off to you. Things are only going to get better for you from here.
I gotta say on Colby, that's what I want to do. I just started playing goalie like a year and a half ago now. I want to play in a league and just have fun with my boys. But but anyway, I think hats off to you, Colby. Keep playing and just having fun, and that's how you get better. You got to play against these guys. These are hockey players that played competitive levels for 20 plus years. Yeah, so good on you. Keep playing and keep learning for sure.
It's pretty cool to look, and let's be honest. It's written right here in the stats. The Purple Dragons have got blown out a couple games, but again, they're a young team. It's early in the season. Things are only going to look up from here. But looking at the other goalies, like it's pretty cool to see that in gentlemen's hockey, in this competitive Chell league that we have, they are all right around 4 or less goals a game. Like usually when you think beer hockey, you think 7-5, 6-3, 10-6, like high scoring games. Again, Cookie, he's got a shutout. Like it's great to see that these guys are competing.
Definitely. And he, what team did he shut out? Was it the Hogs? It was the Hogs.
It was the Hogs.
So that's no joke.
Yeah, I was away for that, and my phone lit up about the save. I mean,
that might be the save of the summer.
I wish we could have got that on film, but it's all I hear about. When the young guys come in at work and talking with Marshall and Kalen, like the save is what we're gonna call it, the save.
The save, yep.
So
definitely.
Again,
do we have any other Chell topics on the docket tonight?
No, I think that pretty much is it. I think we got an exciting announcement, and maybe I'll let you announce it about what is coming up on Wednesday for us.
Oh yeah, this Wednesday. Not you playing, because that's a big announcement.
That's the biggest announcement.
This Wednesday, the Colchester Sports Podcast is coming to you. So we're going to be at the Rec. Funny enough, we actually play against each other on Wednesday, 7:45 game. But we're going to be at the Rec early and do some coverage. We're going to get some interviews. We're going to do some stuff post-game as well. We're going to do a mobile podcast and get some on-the-job or on-ground feedback and stuff like that. So we're going to take we might reach out to a few people here and get a few guests, see if we can get a few people lined up. Won't be a full-length podcast, but we would like to do that sometime. We will get some guests. We do have some people lined up. We're going to sit down with them for a full hour kind of and dive into some things. But what Wednesday will just be quick 10-minute, 5-minute discussion, couple questions. Thank you so much for joining, that kind of thing. So, yeah, stay tuned for that, and that'll be a fun one for sure.
I'm pretty excited. I think it'll be great, especially since we get to play against each other and then to come back and talk about the game, and hopefully I score 6 goals so I can get ahead of you in the scoring race. But
that'd be impressive.
All in all seriousness, guys, those of you that are listening, please reach out to us. If you have anything you want to talk about, or if you're interested about being on here, we're just two guys that like to have a conversation and shoot the shit. And, we're not mean, angry people. We're not going to hurt you. So please, we want to talk to you.
For sure. Definitely. Yep.
So I think we can move on from the Chell. I know we are branded as the Colchester Sports Podcast, so we're also going to talk about other surrounding sports in the area. And I think the biggest one for us right now is the demise of the Truro Tide.
So sad.
I
And I was in Walmart the other day, and I saw like a 12-year-old with a Truro Tide T-shirt,
oh,
and I was like, wow. Yeah, it broke my heart. It did.
that's
So go
tough.
ahead. You
That's
you want to
yeah. I was
for
just
those
gonna
that
say
don't
like
know, 'cause
I don't get it. Like excuse me, the whole dynamic of the league. I don't quite understand what they were really expecting. It's tough. Like we only have one Canadian basketball team. I don't think Canada's a huge basketball nation, and I mean you're more of a basketball guy than me, but I think the idea was there, but how they executed it was just. And for
so
those
do
of
you
you who
want to
don't know,
yeah, do you
kind
want to just preface like the news?
yeah, so the EBCL, Eastern Canadian Basketball League, or
Might be East Coast. I don't know.
yeah, either way.
One of the two.
So they had a team, they had a league, had 5 or 6 teams. There was Charlottetown, there was a team in the Valley, there was Truro Tide, St. John, Moncton,
Bathurst maybe too.
Bathurst, maybe two. There might have been one up north. Anyways, good league. Truro was, I believe, unbelievable. They went on a, I believe it was an 11, not 10 or 11 game winning streak. Like they were on fire. And then, you know, the money just, I believe, wasn't coming in. And unfortunately, they had to shut the season down. And at first, they were supposed to have a tournament that we even talked about possibly attending. It's kind of like a end of the season tournament playoff.
Are they still doing that? Or?
No,
Wow.
they just kaput, done. That's it.
That's tough. And so you think do you think that's money? Well, it has to be revenue
Well,
related.
I heard a rumor, and again, this is just speculation, but I heard a rumor that the team in the Valley bought a basketball court. I won't say how much it was, but they bought a basketball court, installed it, and it was a dud. The ball would not bounce.
Oh no.
So imagine spending a lot of money on your favorite car and it not starting.
Well, no, just on the Valley team, I heard that Truro and the Valley were, they're not the fault of the league collapse, but I heard they were two markets that weren't super strong. Now, speaking of Truro, and I didn't make it out to a game, unfortunately. I did tune into some live streams, and I did have some friends that went to the games, but they played out of CEC. That's a high school gym. Some of these other places are playing out of stadiums. I mean, the old Halifax Hurricanes. I know they're not in the league now, but they played out of the Metro Center. Same quality, like it's the same tier of basketball.
I think just to cut in there for a sec, I believe it was the Hurricanes, correct? Halifax Hurricanes.
It was something for it was the Hurricanes at one point. Yeah.
They were, I believe, a step above because that was a Canadian basketball league. Like that was all of Canada.
Yeah, but I do think that players that played in there are now playing in the East Coast Basketball
that makes
League.
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the intention was to play at the Rath Eastlink Community Center. I think that was the intention, but it never happened. And I think that would have helped as much as, as silly as that is. But I heard they were getting 350 to 500 people attending the CEC games. And that was like ticket sales. Like they announced the ticket sales type thing. That's a good amount of people. I mean, you want more, of course, but that's a good amount of people watching basketball. And I know you're saying, like, Canada has one team and stuff. I think basketball's come a long way. I think Vince Carter started that movement. But now I think more recently, obviously, Kawhi Leonard and the championship in 2019 was massive. And I do think you'll see a surge and a wave of Canadian basketball interest, myself included. Here I am, a grown adult, like 26 years old. Kawhi Leonard got me into basketball, and now I play pickup in Truro. Like, it's crazy. So imagine the kid influence he's impacted. So anyway, I think there's a market for it. I think there's a place for it. I personally was interested on a personal level to attend the games. It just didn't line up with my schedule and things that are going on. But
You're older than 26, are you not?
now,
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
2019 was 4 years ago.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of sad. I think the other thing is, like, why couldn't they play at the AC? Like, do they not have a good?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I think the seating might be another issue at the AC. I don't know what it's like um, for seating, but I know CEC had like the stands that pull out from the side of
Yeah.
the and yeah, if you can seat 500 plus, that's a good amount. But yeah, I do think the rec would have helped. I think that's just a better venue. I think I don't know what the expense would be. The expense is probably a bit more with putting in the over the ice surface because they leave the ice in all summer.
Mhm.
So obviously, so putting in the hardwood over top and taking it off, I'm sure that has more expensive staff and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that would have been a better. They do it for the graduations. They there's a couple graduations in the summer. They do it the rec. So
They have
I don't know
wrestling
what.
at the rec. They can have basketball at the rec.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I know that was the intention when they first announced the Truro Tide, and then something must have happened. But um, yeah, and there's obviously way more than I know of the financial stuff. It was the entire league. It wasn't just Truro and the Valley that caused these. I just heard that those two markets weren't robust. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because like you said, the 2019 boom from when the Raptors won, it did, I guess, bolster basketball in this country. So I think there is a place for a league. I think it just has to be done correctly. I'm just reading an article here about it. What went wrong is the question they all are asking themselves. They don't really know what went wrong. I guess the other part of it all too is like you bring these athletes in, and they need places to live, they need places to stay. This isn't like a professional league, so they're not getting paid millions of dollars. So they need jobs. So there's a lot of you know stuff outside of actually playing the game of basketball that again we don't know about. But the biggest thing I read in this article was, what did we do wrong?
I got a question for you just on that. What would you classify as a professional athlete?
Uh, well, this is gonna coincide with the Chell itself, but I think you have to deem an actual pro. If we take Chell right out of it, take our league right out of it, a pro athlete, I fully believe, is somebody who gets paid to do what they do.
So, junior A, do they get like a weekly or monthly
Yeah,
pay,
but
right? Are they pro athletes? I know. I'm just asking.
no,
I
no,
don't
no.
know.
I know, but no, they're not pro athletes.
Okay. The basketball players on the Truro Tide, I heard get paid $1,500 a month. I don't know if that's every player or if that's like star players and there's different wages. $1,500 a month to play basketball. Is that a pro athlete?
No, because if you were a professional basketball player, you'd probably be in the NBA. So I just looked this up. Professional athlete means an athlete who earns a living by competing in a sport. Oh, actually, this is interesting. Or receive payment for performance at international championships or related events, including preparation for the Olympics. So,
Okay, so
yeah.
here would be my input on that. I think a pro athlete is somebody who can solely live off of their wage from their sport. That's that's super vague because can you live off $1,500 a month? Maybe somebody can.
Not today. Sorry.
But yeah, I think that would be my answer. So CFL players, do they? Some of them have other jobs outside of CFL. Some of them don't. So are they pro athletes? I don't know. Anyway, that's just see. This is my brain.
That's a good point. You bring up the CFL. That's a really good point because I do remember it wasn't a quarterback, but I think it was like one of the running backs for the Calgary Stampeders a few years ago. He talked about how he was an investment banker during the day and the star running back at night. So
Yeah, and they get paid better than the basketball
they
players
get
would.
paid
So
better than the basketball players.
I would say if you get paid to play a sport, you're probably semi-pro. I think that would be fine. Like, I don't know, junior A or semi-pro. I don't know.
I mean, you
But anyway,
one big thing that everyone always looks at too is when you talk about student athletes, for example, the student comes first. And in this sense, like professional. So I feel like you look at your big four main sports and maybe the couple underneath of it, that would be the line. If you get $1,000,
yeah, but that can get dicey though because you look at European leagues and people that go play pro in Europe and in Germany and Australia for basketball, China, Taiwan. Like, I think they're still pro athletes. Like Dwight Howard went to Taiwan. He's playing pro over there. Like, I think that's still a pro athlete.
yeah, but he's playing in the I feel he's playing in a pro league. Like if you play
Right.
if you play the top tier in Sweden, that's a pro league. If you
Yeah.
play Division 3 in Sweden, everybody's going to tell you that you're playing semi-pro.
Yeah,
Right?
I would agree with that. I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, okay. Good question though. Good question. I mean, that's a question that people are going to ask forever. Like, what defines you as a professional athlete?
That's right. Yep.
Like, if I throw you $50 Wednesday night to let us win, does that make you a professional athlete because I paid you?
Yeah. But yeah, so Truro tied, unfortunately, for now. Anyway, we don't know the future status of the league, but for now, they are done in Truro.
Yeah, that I just again I read here maybe coming back 2024. That's gives them a
We'll
few
see.
months to kind of think about what they want to do, but sponsorship was a big letdown. Ticket sales were kind of in some areas were a letdown.
I think that, yeah, and I think that's referencing Truro and Kentville, but I'm not sure on that.
Hard to say. That's really the, I think, big news coming out of Colchester at this time. I don't think there's anything else really going on. It's summer right now. I do have one thing to say. Like, working at Cleves, I deal a lot with the minor, like the CC Riders and the baseball in the area. Some good news today out of the Truro minor baseball. I guess their numbers this year are the highest they've been in, I think Joe said it was 7 or 8 years, which is great. Nothing more can excite. I mean, I'm not a parent, but adults are seeing, kids, aspiring to be athletes.
Yeah, actually, that is interesting because I do feel like there was a lull in baseball, and maybe that's just my perception of it. But I do feel like when I was growing up, even when my dad was growing up, baseball was a thing. And I think there was a lull, and then I think when those dads became dads, there was another pickup in baseball. My brother played, I played for 1 year, and I just felt like there was like a presence of baseball, and then I feel like that dropped off. I feel like, late 2000s and then into the 2010s, I feel like the interest in baseball like rounded, and people were doing other things like tennis or soccer's always been big. That'll always be big, but I feel like people left baseball to do other things. But now I feel like coaching the CC team, everybody on the team played baseball. Like everybody, I feel like now like baseball is big, and so to hear that it's growing, it doesn't really surprise me a whole bunch, but it's good to hear.
I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty sure this is public knowledge, but I'm pretty excited that the new turf ground coming in Truro will be a great thing for baseball.
Is that at the TAC grounds?
I don't know. I don't think it's there.
Oh, okay. Because there was a talk about a huge project there, right?
Is it the TAC grounds? Because I heard that it was going behind Belly Up.
Oh wow, that would be huge.
Yeah, that's
a good spot.
Yeah.
right by all the restaurants and stuff. That'd be a
Great
good spot.
yeah.
Right by the highway.
Yep.
Teams can come in close. But yeah, I know the TAC Grounds was looking at a huge revitalization project or something where they had a new track and stuff like that. I don't know where that is currently stands, but I always thought that would be so good for Truro. I think we have the most outdated track in the province, and I don't think that's just made up. I think I heard that from somebody who ran track and field. Old gravel, like it's just so outdated.
Yeah, in order to host any event, I feel you got to have a synthetic track now. Regionals, districts.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Gravel's just not going to cut it. I know the other thing too is they play football at the TAC Ground. So, and it's surprising how big football is in Truro, but we don't sell any football gear. We just don't carry it. Sorry, all those people out there that are looking to buy football gear, we don't carry it. Personally, I just want to give a shout out to a great season. I know it's not Colchester related, but it's sports and it's close to home. Halifax Mooseheads had a great year, really good year, and losing to Quebec, coached by Patrick Wall, big Habs guy I am, so that's kind of cool. And it's kind of a little close to home for us in the Chell because one of our Chell members did, I believe, either this year or last year, play for Quebec, Lucas Canning. So that's kind of a little cool, hey, the team won. He used to play for them. He's part of the Chell. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. He played for the Ramparts this year. He did move back home and he did finish his year playing Junior A for the Bearcats, but Lucas Canning was on the Ramparts this year, so I don't know. Does he get a ring? Are there rings?
No.
Give him a ring.
No. It's just
we can talk. We'll dive into that topic on a different pod.
Yeah,
I know.
Just like
anyway,
the Stanley Cup.
But yeah, shout out to Lucas and the Ramparts. Fun fact about the Memorial Cup: the last 3 winners of the Memorial Cup have been from the Q. So the team that's won the Q went on to win the Memorial Cup. So pretty cool. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time on episode 5. Reach out. Let's make this a community. We are a community, and we're here to help. We're here to chat all things Colchester sports. Thanks so much.